Welcome to the Great Beer State podcast from the Michigan Brewers Guild. The Great Beer State is a weekly show sharing conversations and stories from the passionate people who contribute to our vibrant Michigan beer community. It is made up of a mix between full-length archived interviews from the Guild's first documentary book project, A Rising Tide, Stories from the Michigan Brewers Guild, and conversations recorded in the here and now. Each episode is kicked off with a conversational update from host Scott Graham, Executive Director of the Guild, and the beer-evangelist Fred Biltman, author of A Rising Tide. Here's Scott and Fred. Welcome to episode 19 of Michigan's Great Beer State podcast. My name's Fred. I'm the beer evangelist. I'm here with my good friend and executive director of the Michigan Brewers Guild, Scott Graham. Scott, how you doing today?
Doing reasonably well, Fred. Happy to be introducing episode 19 of the podcast. It's been fun so far, and it seems I can hardly believe we're 19 episodes in. So hopefully some folks are following along by now and enjoying it as much as I am.
Yeah, absolutely. We are definitely binge-worthy at this point. If you went through and indulged several episodes of the Guild, you'd certainly come away with a good picture of who we are, how we came to be, and what's going on. There's a lot of great conversations, and it's fun watching the listener rolls grow. And maybe it's a good time to encourage you, if you're listening and enjoying and interested. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a shout. Let us know what you think. Maybe share it, post a review, whatever. But personally, we'd love to hear what you're taking away and what you find most engaging, and or if you've got any suggestions. So, little encouragement there to let us know what you're thinking. So today we're going to jump right into the Brewers Dozen, and we'll kind of give a collective update here in a little bit as we introduce our guest, Shannon OBrien, who's events manager and customer services manager for the Guild. She's been with the team for a long time. But first, we'll jump into the Brewers Dozen, our weekly tradition of giving shout outs to 13 member breweries all around our great beer state. Scott, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, this is our fun way to try and show everybody a little love through the process of these podcasts, and we'll start in St. Clair Shores. If you don't know, that's on the outskirts of the Detroit area or near Detroit. And Baffin Brewing Company is in St. Clair Shores.
A little bit of trivia. I met my wife, Ula, in St. Clair Shores at a mutual friend's, the beer family friend's wedding many moons ago. So I have a fondness for St. Clair Shores.
Terrific.
Next up, we got Charlotte Brewing Company. I guess that's actually in Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte Brewing Company. So it's part of the Eaton Pub and Grill. They're a brew pub operation with a full drinks menu and food, and that's I guess it's near Lansing. De Hops Brewing Company and Cafe in Walker. That, of course, is on the outskirts of Grand Rapids, and they've been open a couple years now with a nice food menu and a comfortable atmosphere.
All right. And even though we're just a few weeks away from our anniversary, we've got a second, my personal wedding anniversary, we've got a second brewery from St. Clair Shores, JMX Brewing Company.
Yep. As it's actually pretty random, but two in St. Clair Shores today. I know that JMX has a small, I think they got a 2-barrel brewery, so they rotate through a lot of beers. And sticking in, I guess, kind of I'm probably stretching it to include Fenton in the greater Detroit area, but Lynchpin Beer Company was added on as part of the operation of the Laundry, which is got a restaurant with a great reputation in Fenton.
Yeah, that's a great spot. Eternity Brewing in Howell.
Yeah, again, I guess that's kind of inching us to the left on your radio dial towards the Lansing area, but still in the greater Metro Detroit area. And if we then jump up to the UP, we've got Hereford and Hops in Escanaba. Hereford and Hops have been a member of the Michigan Brewers Guild and around for many years now.
Yep, they were one. If you were listening to Chumley's interview, he talks about the original six, the first six brew pubs up in the UP, um, and they were part of that crew in the very early days, and they've all been holding strong. Next up, we've got Northville Winery and Brewing Company in Northville.
Yeah, again, they're a Metro Detroit area location. I think they feature a lot on their cider and wine, but they've got great beer too. Uh, Moving to the southwest part of the Lower Peninsula, we've got Open Road Brewery in Wayland, which is, I guess you'd call it a neighborhood brewery with some food, but that's in the greater Grand Rapids area there, south of Grand Rapids.
Yeah, heading back east, we've got Roke Brewing Company in Royal Oak.
Yeah, really cool place. Opened, they've been open a few years now, but kind of fits in with what I think of Royal Oak. Heading back over to southwest, kind of far southwest, there's a great beer community down there in the southwest part of the Lower Peninsula. But in St. Joseph, you have Silver Harbor Brewing Company.
Yep, and just a little bit north from there, right up 31, you've got South Haven Brew Pub in South Haven.
And we'll wrap it up going back to the Metro Detroit area in Ferndale. I keep saying Metro Detroit area. I hope that that's not off-putting to folks who live over there and know the geography better. But Urban Rest Brewing Company in Ferndale.
Yeah, I think you got a 7-county stretch there that you can generally refer to. It's pretty big. It might not help. You might not be ready to give directions with that broad stroke, but other than that, you're good. So that wraps the Brewers Dozen for episode 19. And so today we're introducing a staff member, Shannon OBrien, and I guess I'll just kick it off to you to get it started, Scott. It's a bit of a interesting introduction and a great interview, but I'll let you kick it off.
Yeah, it is a great interview, and this is kind of a tough one to introduce. Although I'm happy to recognize Shannon, she's been an important part of our team. On the sad side of things, though, as part of kind of the ongoing carnage that the COVID pandemic is reaping, it's impacting all of our member breweries. We've been talking about that since we started doing the podcast, and it's had really significant impacts. It's caused us to have to cancel most of our festivals this year, and while I think at some point we will get back to doing our beer festivals and everybody be looking forward to that, it's a little uncertain at this time, and it's really dramatically affected the Brewers Guild's income, and we've had to adapt. And to get right to the point, we downsized our staff from 3 to 2, and with the uncertainty of our events, it was really the events manager position that suffered. So it was really sad to have to talk to Shannon about eliminating that position and take a valued team member and share that sad news. And while Shannon has been really a great team member through the transition, it's sad and it's hard and it's frustrating. And obviously lots of businesses are going through tough things, but it's one that I certainly haven't relished. And I've really valued her as a team member and kind of a friend and companion over the years, and really respect and appreciate all the work that she's done for the Guild.
Yeah, it's really difficult and painful, and just one of those things. There's a lot of difficult decisions and consequences to this pandemic going around, um, and this is one that hits close to home with the Michigan Brewers Guild community. I think you'll hear in the interview why it's um, why there's such difficulty and pain around it, because it's also a celebration of the work that she's done. I think at least our decision to publish this now. And what I liked about the interview is you can hear her genuine enthusiasm and her rooting interest for everybody in the community, and her unique take on why our community works and just what it has meant to her, I think, professionally. But I think as you take it in, you can also hear what she means to this group, both personally and professionally.
Yeah, and it has meant a lot to me personally. She mentions when she got hired, and her position has evolved some over the years, just like everything we've done has. But I was pretty overwhelmed being a one-man operation. And we've seen our breweries do this too. They need people long before they can afford to hire them, and they hire one, and then hopefully they hire more and continue to grow. But Shannon and I worked through so much trying to rearrange and manage all the tasks and everything that was coming at us in a growing environment. Which I always said, these are great challenges. It's good to be too busy. It's a lot better than figuring out, how to constrict or contract and do less. And so we worked well together, and we worked really hard together. And she dedicated 8 years in various positions at the guild, and I'm certainly going to miss my regular interactions with her, but hope to see her at lots of beer festivals and have contact with her otherwise.
Yeah, and besides everything she's done for the events and for the members and for the community, even this project, she helped produce these initial introductions and manage some enthusiast participation and as per usual, she was enthusiastic, professional, and exceptionally capable in helping us get this part of it rolling as well. So um, just another area to give her props and kudos for, and another area where she kind of showed who she is to the organization.
Yep, well put. She's a fan of podcasts in general, and she was excited to be working on this project, and I hope she enjoys listening to this episode.
Yeah, so we will take you to the shores of Lower Harbor Park in Marquette, Michigan, if I got that name right. And we talked with Shannon during the Fall UP Beer Festival in 2018. And Shannon, thank you so much for everything you've done. Good luck. We're all confident that you'll land on your feet because you're great and we love you. So thanks for everything.
Thanks, Shannon. We really wish you the best. Cheers.
Cheers.
I was not looking for a job in the beer industry. Actually, at one point in my life, I would have considered myself a non-beer drinker. Like, I didn't like it. I didn't really know that much about it. But I was dating a guy, then I married the guy. Later, I divorced the guy, but Anyway, you can edit that part out. That's fine. Anyway, a gentleman friend of mine.
I can edit it from our project. I don't know if I can edit from your personal history, but
no, that's okay, and I would not.
That's a different rate.
Right. But yeah, so a boyfriend introduced me to this festival. Actually, it was a summer festival, and I don't know how many years I went with him to that, but that was my first real foray into craft beer. And there's so many things there that I was like, this is not what I thought it was. It's pretty decent, and at least, even though I don't know anything about this beer thing, it's interesting, and there's obviously such a breadth of taste here, of palate, that I can explore that. No pressure to like anything, just to try shit.
Yeah.
So that was kind of the start of me knowing about what this guild was, I guess, and what this industry in Michigan was. And then one of those years down the road, and I wasn't actively seeking employment, but was self-employed as an artist, so obviously making gobs of money. I was not. But I was looking for parking info. Oh dear, he's down. I was looking for parking information about that festival, so went to the website, saw that they were hiring for this position. I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. And I read a little bit about it. I was like, as an eclectic person who's done like everything / lacks focus, I happen to match my background. So I don't really want to like change jobs necessarily, but I will
And
give
what was
this.
the position as advertised?
It was communications manager. So what I ultimately learned was Scott was overwhelmed and couldn't deal with gobs of email, which I can completely understand and relate to now. And he needed some help. So, and it was some preliminary bookkeeping and kind of like an administrative assistant type person or executive assistant kind of guy. So that is how I got roped into this fine job. And that job, because the guild was evolving at the time, I mean, you know, going from just being a board run, and I've been on a board before, and probably not in a very good capacity, but recognize at least how much work it is. So to go from a working board to, hey, we got to hire an executive director and not have to do so much of this stuff ourselves, board, to then that executive director really needs some help. And then, oh, that was an office person, but she is not an accountant, and this is now a $2 million operating annual budget organization, and we need somebody who actually has a degree in numbers. So, so the roles have obviously evolved over time. So I think it was first communications manager, then operations manager, which I guess if you ask any operations manager, so what does that mean exactly? Like, nobody can really tell you. It's like,
I think it's a synonym for everything.
Yeah, I do things and I make things happen.
Yeah.
And so that got clarified with the addition of staff. There's more specialization. So now I am the events manager / customer services. So I primarily deal with the internal kind of communications with brewery members, though Sherry does membership management and the application process, and I do.
So how does customer services, are you talking about your members as the customers?
Both, actually. So
okay,
yeah,
so
members
consumers and brewery members.
Consumers and brewery members.
And how does that differ from membership management? Like, what are the things that you're helping with?
Yeah, so membership management, as we're looking at the structure right now, deals with new members that want to know, how do I join this group? What do I do? How do I apply? What information do you need from me? And then walking them through that process, taking the application, making sure that all of the bylaws are met and steps are followed, and then welcoming them in once they've joined. And so then customer services, as applies to members, is, you know, you have any question, particularly as it applies to an event, I need help with something, who do I go to? Kind of a director of traffic, maybe, in that regard.
And so, I guess, tell me a little bit, how has the guild evolved since you've been on it, and what do you think are improvements and accomplishments that the guild has been able to provide for members that you're proud of over time?
Yeah, well, I'm proud of just kind of being in a support role while witnessing them happen. I wouldn't necessarily take credit for any of.
Yeah, but I mean, I kind of mean, as an organization, what have you guys accomplished that has, in addition to what you were doing when you first came on board?
Well, my favorite thing that the Guild does, which is really what appeals to me about this organization, why I love my job, is that it really creates this established network of people and gives new guys with a dream kind of a direction to go and a place to look and come together as a united community. I know people throw that word community around a lot, but you know, you can have a lot of disassociated points in a community, or you can connect, and I don't see how you can grow as successfully and as hugely as the beer industry in Michigan has without that connection, if you're just disconnected, nebulous points. So I think that's really cool. I mean, like, you see all these people that are here, everybody's having a great time, everybody knows some of the people, not other people. It's a networking event, and that's what the Guild does. It gives this platform for that to happen. You know, with the winter conference, that's another great way people come in starry-eyed, don't know anybody, really want to be part of the Guild and part of the festival. And the Guild itself what is that entity? I don't know. It's really just a doorway that people can walk through to know where to go to make all these friends and associates and connections and meet Fred Beltman and learn from him and meet this other guy and learn from him. And I've met some of the best people in my life through the Guild too. So just it's an introduction of sorts, I guess.
Yeah. And what do you think that those introductions and that people coming together, what do you think that does for the brewing industry? What do you think it does for the greater community outside of brewing?
Oh, the community outside of brewing. I think that one thing it does is bring that community into the community inside of brewing. I mean,
yeah. It's a door for the member breweries.
It's a door for the
brewing community is also a door for the consumer to come in and see this rich.
Absolutely.
thing.
Like that guy up on the hill there is seeing what's happening here and seeing people gathering and laughing and having a good time, hopefully, and saying, that looks kind of fun. Like, what is that? How do I get in there? And just as the pub is a watering hole, and you go and you have a beer, and then you meet the guy that probably lives down the street that maybe you wouldn't meet otherwise, and maybe you wouldn't talk to otherwise, and you walk past him walking his dog every day, but you don't have a conversation, but you may if you're sitting at a community picnic table or next to him at the bar. It brings consumers together, and you don't have to be this craft beer snob that knows all the different hop varieties and yeast strains, and you don't have to know or care anything about that to really enjoy the sense of community and camaraderie that having a local business where you can just go and relax and meet people that live near you creates.
Yeah.
That's why I like it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it makes me think about a lot of different stuff, like, I don't know, I mean, how your relationship to saying, the festival is kind of like the pub in terms of that it's this thing where it brings people together, I think is really important. And I wonder what do you think are the struggles that or what are the obstacles towards a healthy community in the brewing community or otherwise, and how do we overcome it?
Yeah, there are a few that come to mind. I guess one that I'm seeing that's pretty new, that feels pretty new to me, and now I'll just give you some background. I've only been doing this for 7 years. I say only because, they're the old school guys that started this thing, and I've always felt like a newbie. And I have kind of always been a newbie, but everything's relative. So then there are people that are starting right now, and then are they the newbie? It's kind of irrelevant, but in my limited 7 years, only kind of recently has it started feeling like, is this too big? And I think a lot of people ask that question, is this too big? Is it so giant that the bigness of it causes people to feel like that's not true anymore, that special spark of smallness, of tight togetherness is just not there. And when I come to things like this, and I talk to you, and I talk to my friends here, and I make new friends here, I believe and feel like, wow, it is there. But when you do the things that regular Americans do, watch TV, go to the store, see this giant selection on shelves, and hear people kind of nerd out about craft beer, you might think that, this is just like any giant popular fad, and therefore conclude that special something just is gone. I don't think that it is, but you really have to engage to feel that it's not, to believe that it's not. So that's a challenge. So how do you, as a...
Keeping it feeling personal, despite of its growth and size.
Absolutely. So how do you, because I can't stop thinking about things because I'm customer services guy from our members' perspectives, and I'm the new Michigan Brewers Guild member brewery, just got signed up, just starting a new brewery in this community, and how do I combat this question in everybody's mind of like, oh my God, do we really need another brewery in Michigan? Well, yeah, but maybe the question that you should be asking is, do we need this particular brewery right here in this area? And maybe it's going to be amazing and really bring people together. So that's it's a challenge, I think, for new operations that was not a challenge. It's a great problem to have, like, everybody's so successful, what do we do? But, probably New Holland wasn't facing back when it started, or, that the challenge then was like, you're going to do what?
Yeah,
Nobody's
nobody
ever
cares.
heard of that. Are you crazy? Yeah.
Yeah, the obstacles just change. They are different.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you think the new member who's in planning stages or preparing to open, what do you wish more of them knew about the community or about the organization?
Say it again?
If imagine a new brewery is starting, what do you wish they knew more about the Michigan brewing community or the Michigan Brewers Guild before they call you, or
yeah, that's
or
a good
what do you wish
question.
they'd call you for?
What do I wish they'd call me for? Well, so the guild really comes into play for members once they've already done that part of getting open. So they're already engaged. You have to be engaged in your community to get permits, to know how to navigate that municipal requirements and whatever that is. You need to engage in the community to have customers and to have people there on your opening day. And I think it's opening day for the Tigers. It's grand opening maybe for a brewery. But anyway, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? So they've already done that kind of starting to root into the community. And I guess I wish, because, we've got a staff of 3. It's still a nonprofit organization. It's big in its reach and its scope and all the lives and jobs that it touches. But as far as resources and, how many people can we pay to do all the stuff that we want to do, it's still pretty small. So I would love if we could wave a magic wand and have a ton of resources for breweries in planning that help them take root and know what to do and how to do it, and then when they get going, be in a better place to succeed. And that's not really something the Guild offers in really huge scope right now. I mean, we have a little bit, and honestly, like I said, I think the best thing we can provide for that brewery is networking. But then you still have to do the work yourself.
Right.
And that's okay, because
But you're saying it's important for them to know that your membership begins when you're a brewery.
Yes,
not when you want to be a brewery.
Yeah. I mean, your engagement might begin when you want to be a brewery, but you've got all this work to do, and then what the Guild hands you on a silver platter doesn't really start until you're open and you've done all of that.
And then how would you describe the silver platter?
Well,
like what comes with being a member?
Yeah, so there's obviously the festival experience. We do 4 festivals a year, and that is a marketing opportunity at the most basic for breweries. You get your name out there. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but for example, like the summer festival, we had about 10,000, 11,000 people that just come in, and if you're a new brewery, they see you, they find you, they try your beer. So it's a ready-made platform for people to just taste your product and learn about you. So that's a big benefit. We've got, and you were asking about what are you proud of that the Guild has done in the past 10, 20 years? Its existence, having this conference that we do every single year, and then being able to recently offer a free registration to every member, I think has been really big. I mean, like, financial challenges are...
What do you think is important about that?
Well, networking, again, is huge, but then having the educational seminars so people can go and they can send their new starry-eyed brewer to learn about barrel aging, or their general manager to learn about business practices or hiring staff, and or OSHA requirements or something. So the educational component is pretty cool. But I think it's great that has grown as much as it has, and the quality and caliber of topics that we offer. Not we offer, it's in conjunction, of course, with the MBAA, but people who come to speak are just, brilliant guys such as yourself. It's not. But I mean, it really changes people's outlook on how they're going to do their business and helps people succeed. So I think that's amazing. And being able to, I mean, I've heard breweries say, I would love to go, but I can't afford it. But when you say, okay, well, you can go for free. Now, We can't pay for people's hotel room yet. Wouldn't that be great? But, you know, that can mean the difference between somebody going and having that learning experience or not going. So that's been pretty cool.
Awesome. I don't know what else. You were saying when we first sat down, kind of before we started, that the Brewers Guild's changed your life. How do you think the Brewers Guild has changed your life?
Well, for one, and this is like on a personal level and not about the industry as a whole, but I think a lot of people could relate to this maybe. Maybe this is me projecting myself on other people, but I'm a misfit, Fred, okay? I have always felt in most of the jobs, maybe not all of the jobs, maybe all of the jobs that I've had, that I'm like, I just don't belong here. I don't really know what's right for me. I don't know how to feel like myself in a corporate environment or in this environment or with these people or with that people. And everybody's different here. Nobody cares. Everybody loves you. Everybody hates you. Who knows? It's just like this mishmash of characters. And certainly, I don't feel judged. I feel like I fit in fine because nobody fits in fine. So everybody fits in fine. So, which is why I've stayed with this job as long as I have, because it's like it feels like I belong here. You know, it is where I belong. It's where everybody belongs. There's no exclusion in this community as far as I believe and I feel. So, in that way, best job I ever had.
Awesome. It's powerful.
It really is.
You know, it makes me think that's kind of reflected in the overall community too, that, you know, same goes for brewery personalities, not just the people, but like brand personalities. It seems like everybody belongs because nobody belongs, particularly when you get the diversity on this scale, which is another cool thing about seeing Michigan beer and community size, just in terms of number of people and number of breweries grow. And you look at how different businesses choose to brand themselves, and this is our image, and maybe this is who we're marketing to. This is our look that we're going for, and then another brewery will be completely on the opposite end of the spectrum. So you can find something that really appeals to you. And also, as a business owner, you can just pour whatever your heart and soul is. If it's some kind of like crazy mosh pit punk rock image and you want that to be your entire business and your brand and your feel, like, you can go for it. Yeah. I feel like we've got it, unless there's other stuff you want to add, either about, I don't know, the team or what lies ahead, but I feel like that's really good.
I'm interested to see what lies ahead. I mean, I think that some of these challenges that are kind of scary, to be honest, in a way, because it seems like they're the challenges of an aging industry. Again, it's like, oh, what a great problem to have. You're so successful. There's so many breweries. Like, you remember a time where there were 3 or 4. Yep. That's crazy to me. So what will happen next? I don't know. And other states are going through it too. The country's going through it.
Do you feel safer or stronger facing that as a strong community and family with the Guild than you would otherwise?
Well, yeah, I mean, otherwise...
Do you think we're better off facing that
as
together?
A community?
Yeah.
As a Guild? Absolutely.
Why?
Yeah, because it started perhaps as a smaller community, but it was a bunch of people who had this idea that was nuts and brought it into being. You know, they made it happen with their actions and their crazy ideas and their will. That's it. They willed it into existence. So I kind of feel like, why can't it be whatever we want it to be? If you have creative minds and passionate hearts and souls that have a great idea, you can push it in whatever direction you want. So yeah, and the more the merrier too. Do I feel more safe and secure being surrounded by fairly like-minded people that in that we kind of all want to succeed and see this industry grow and thrive and be a beautiful thing? Yeah, but we're different in everybody's personality, of course, and ideas and whatever, but
sort of shared purpose, but not.
It really is.
Not stamped out.
It's like a giant think tank, Fred, and I think that's kind of great. And I am awed, really, by a lot of the brains in this community, and I trust everybody to figure it out, and it'll evolve.
Yeah, I love it.
Cool. Me too.
Thanks for spending time.
Yeah. Well, cheers, man.
Cheers.
You saved the sip.
I did. Thanks for listening and sharing while supporting Michigan breweries and craft beer everywhere. The Michigan Brewers Guild was formed in 1997 with its first summer beer festival taking place in July of 1998. Its now 5 annual festivals are dedicated exclusively to Michigan beer brewed by more than 270 member breweries. The Michigan Brewers Guild exists to promote and protect the passionate Michigan beer industry in every way possible. To learn more, visit us at mibeer.com or say hello on one of our social media pages, as we love hearing from you. From coast to coast, from far and near, let's drink Michigan beer.